The Coalition mining ship Resolute drifted toward the dead neutron star, a perfect black sphere in the outer veil, unmarked and silent for millennia.
Begin drilling. Let's find out if this corpse still holds anything worth taking.
The drill arm extended, its energy bit glowing blue-white as it touched the star's dark surface. Initial readings matched all projections. Dense, inert neutronium, nothing unexpected.
Too smooth. The density curve is mathematical. This isn't natural.
Then the alarm screamed. On the bridge, every display lit red.
That's not stellar matter. What have we hit?
The drill shrieked against an engineered surface, throwing sparks in a shower of impossible light.
Pull it back. Get me a full spectral analysis. Now.
The crew stared at the readouts, the anomaly defying every known physics model. Before the spectral analysis was complete, a priority message from Coalition Command ordered the ship to withdraw immediately.
Pull back from the greatest discovery in centuries. Not yet. Ignore that. Increase drill speed. I want to know what's behind this shell.
The drill screeched, then broke through with a shattering roar transmitted through the hull. The cameras plunged into darkness, then adjusted to a cavernous void where light hadn't touched in 1100 years. Rows of angular black hulls filled the interior, frozen in a silence that swallowed all sound.
Count them. Get me a full count. This isn't debris, it's a formation.
The tactical officer whispered a number that made every crew member freeze.
12,000. That's more ships than the Coalition has in this sector. Open a channel to command. Highest priority.
And in the hollow star, the dark warships waited, perfectly still, as if holding their breath since a time before engines touched the sky. The Resolute's sensors swept the ghost fleet, cataloging hull after hull, until one signature flared with sudden energy.
That flagship, energy readings are spiking. It's coming online.
Across the fleet, stasis fields crackled and died in a wave, running lights flickering on like a constellation igniting.
It's not just one. The whole formation is waking. Why now? Why us?
On the flagship's bridge, a crystalline pod hissed open, spilling cold mist older than most civilizations.
Scan that ship. Deep scan. I want to know if anything alive is in there.
Before the scan completed, a new alarm sounded, an active transmission from the flagship, coherent and repeating.
A transmission. After 1,000 years? Get me a decode, now.
The signal was not voice. It was a mathematical pulse, a key waiting for a response.
This isn't automated. There's a mind behind it, and it's calling to us.
The mathematical pulse collapsed into a visual channel. On the bridge view screen, a figure stepped out of the dissipating mist. He wore armor older than most civilizations, and his calm gaze swept the Resolute's bridge as if measuring a threat.
Wait, Zindange, and who he have ye broken ura rest?
The alien translator struggled, decoding the words as an early form of human language unused for a millennium.
I am Admiral John of the Plantagenet Fleet. We have waited here in the silence for 1100 years.
Plantagenet. That's a human myth, a kingdom from before they even reached space.
My orders are simple. Wait until disturbed. Defend.
Defend against what? We are a mining vessel. We meant no harm.
Harm is irrelevant. The oath does not specify. You are the first disturbance in 1100 years.
On the Resolute's bridge, Vrenkar felt the cold weight of 12,000 warships suddenly focused on his single mining vessel. A new transmission overrode the channel, a Coalition military frequency, sharp with authority.
This is Commander Thrax of the Coalition Security Force. Your fleet is an illegal military presence. Stand down immediately.
Illegal by whose law? We are the Plantagenet Fleet, commissioned under the seal of King Edward, and we answer to no coalition.
King Edward is a corpse 1100 years forgotten. His authority means nothing here.
On the contrary, authority does not expire simply because the statesman dies. The orders persist.
Then I will demonstrate what happens when relics refuse to yield. All ships, weapons hot.
In the space around the dead star, Coalition warships flashed into existence, a response force arriving with cannons charged. John studied the holographic display calmly, then keyed a sequence. The ancient fleet answered, shields shimmering into existence.
Commander, Thrax, you may test those weapons, but I assure you, the result will not be what you expect.
The two forces faced each other in the silence of space, one ancient, one modern, and the universe held its breath. John's weathered hand moved across the console, opening a glowing document embedded with the royal seal of House Plantagenet.
By the seal of King Edward, this fleet operates under standing orders that no authority has revoked.
A primitive forgery. You think a scrap of digital parchment protects you from Coalition might?
Verify it. Open a channel to your Earth government. Their archives hold the truth.
The Golden Lion banner unfurled on John's bridge, ancient and defiant against the dark.
I am in command of this sector. I deny your request. All external communications are now jammed.
The holographic seal flickered and distorted as the jamming field wrapped the fleet in silence.
You have no allies, old man. Surrender your ships or be reduced to stardust.
John tapped a command. Across the hollow star, 12,000 ships lit up with weapons charged.
You may test our ancient steel, but we have waited 1,100 years. We will not fail our oath now.
On the bridge, Vrenkar saw the truth. Thrax's jamming was a prelude to annihilation.
He means to destroy them without witnesses. I cannot let that happen.
He keyed a secondary protocol, routing through the mining ship's deep space relay, an older frequency.
Send everything on that human admiral. Full spectral, the seal, address, Earth's early warning network.
The signal lanced out, a needle of data threading through the jamming field. On Earth, the ancient code burned across monitoring stations, waking systems built to detect lost human military encryption. A junior analyst stared at the decoded image. The Golden Lion of Plantagenet, claiming authority 1,100 years deep.
They know. Now I pray they believe it, before Thrax opens fire.
In the hollow star, the Coalition ships held position, weapons still hot, the silence more dangerous than any sound. Vrenkar watched the tactical display, claws frozen above the console, counting seconds until salvation or slaughter. President Nguyen was woken from sleep by the seal of Plantagenet burning on her secure terminal.
This can't be real. Verify this. Deep dive into historical archives now.
In the dead star's shadow, a Coalition cruiser broke formation and fired a warning shot across the flagship's bow. The energy blast skated off a shimmering shield that had not existed a moment before, dispersing harmlessly into the void.
That was a full power discharge. How could their shield absorb it without a scratch?
I did warn you, Commander. Stand down your forces, or the next volley will be answered.
On Earth, a young archivist discovered a buried file, Project Starseed, authorized under King Edward I, 1289. The archaic text read, "These ships shall wait in silence until called upon to defend the realm in perpetuity."
Perpetuity. The authority never lapsed. Get me a direct line to the Coalition fleet, now.
The standoff endured, but now Earth had a clock, and John had a patience measured in centuries.
Commander, Thrax, I offer you one final chance. Stand down your ships, and there will be no bloodshed.
Thrax answered with a barrage, a furious volley that lit up the hollow star. John touched a single crystalline node on his console. A silent pulse radiated outward from the flagship. Across the Coalition fleet, every weapon system sputtered and died, their engines falling to idle.
Nothing. Nothing is responding. What sorcery is this?
As I said, Commander, your weapons are ineffective. We have no wish to destroy you. Stand down, and this ends peacefully.
In the archives, the sealed decree materialized. King Edward's final order, hidden for centuries, let this fleet be the shield eternal, answerable to none but the crown, its command unbroken by any future authority.
It's real. Not just a project, a perpetual warrant. We have no legal standing to order them to stand down.
In the silence of the dead star, Thrax faced the impossible. And in London, Nguyen picked up the line to the Coalition, the weight of an ancient oath in her words. Nguyen's voice was barely a whisper as the final seal dissolved, and the hidden clauses appeared.
The Plantagenet fleet shall be answerable to no earthly authority in perpetuity, and this warrant shall be sealed and concealed from all future governance.
The archive showed the 1289 Parliament had voted to bury the fleet's existence, to prevent its power from being misused. Within the hour, the Earth Security Council assembled in a holographic chamber, their faces grim.
This decree is authentic. It predates our Constitution by 700 years, and it was deliberately hidden.
Silence smothered the room. A senior general started to protest, but Nguyen cut him off.
If we deny this, we risk war we cannot win. If we accept it, we hand our sovereignty to a medieval admiral.
The council erupted, but Nguyen silenced them with a raised hand.
Denial means annihilation. Acceptance means an alliance with the past, which is the lesser evil.
She opened a direct channel to the flagship, the council watching, the decision still hanging. The world did not yet know.
Admiral John, this is President Nguyen. The decree has been authenticated. Earth recognizes your standing authority.
Your honesty honors your office. In good faith, I release the coalition ships, but my oath remains unchanged.
Across the dead star, disabled thrusters coughed back to life. On his bridge, Thrax slammed a claw into the console as his weapons reinitialized.
This cannot stand. Not after 1,000 years of silence.
Commander Thrax, any further aggression against the Plantagenet fleet will be considered an act of war against Earth.
Before Thrax could retort, a priority signal from the Coalition Council overrode his channel. By order of the Coalition Council, you are hereby relieved of command. Stand down, all forces, and await escort. Thrax's scales paled as the order repeated. On his own bridge, his officers stepped back, abandoning their posts.
Madam President, we have much to discuss. For now, let this be the first hour of peace.
The channel closed. In the hollow star, the ancient fleet held its formation, a silent sentinel from another age. A secure, encrypted channel opened between the flagship and the presidential office, no coalition ears listening.
Madam President, the fleet was not merely a weapon. It is a seed of knowledge hidden from a world not yet ready.
He called up a dossier of medieval schematics, star maps, principles of energy flow that modern science had never theorized.
Our engineers unlocked principles of folded space and resonant energy that your age has not yet imagined.
This could leapfrog humanity ahead by centuries, or start another war.
I offer this knowledge freely under one condition: it serves peace, never conquest.
Across the ship, in a detention cell, Thrax watched the data stream on a smuggled relay, his eyes burning.
Ancient weapons, lost science. This could restore my power.
Admiral, this is more than defense. You are handing us a new future.
In the hollow star, the fleet remained silent, the weight of 11 centuries now resting on a single alliance. In a detention cell deep within the Coalition flagship, Thrax activated a smuggled relay, his claws trembling with rage.
Launch the ghost torpedo. No warning. Target the flagship's bridge. Do it now.
From a concealed tube, a torpedo etched with stealth coating slid into the void. Invisible to standard sensors, on the flagship, John's ancient systems blinked once. Then a calm voice announced the incoming threat. John keyed a response. A pinpoint beam lanced out, intercepting the torpedo 100 kilometers out in a silent blossom of light.
I warned you, Commander. Your desperation betrays you.
No, they can't have seen it. This is impossible.
The door hissed open. Coalition security officers stepped in, and Thrax knew his command was over. A priority message from the Coalition Council read, "Commander Thrax is hereby removed. We request immediate negotiations." The standoff had ended, but the terms of peace would be written by a man who swore an oath before empires rose and fell. The Coalition Council issued its final order. All ships withdraw from the outer veil immediately.
Madam President, my oath does not expire with the threat. This fleet will remain, a guardian in your sky.
Admiral, you are placing a sword above our heads that we never asked for.
A shield, not a sword. The decree is clear. I will not abandon my post.
He is right. The warrant gives him absolute authority in defense. We cannot revoke it.
John sent a formal declaration of permanent station, citing the Plantagenet seal. One by one, the ancient ships broke formation, heading for Earth, their lights steady.
I will address the council again. The public must be informed before they see shadows.
The coalition fleet vanished, leaving only silence and the cracked shell of a star. Nguyen stood alone in her office, the weight of 11 centuries pressing on her shoulders. President Nguyen addressed Earth from the council chamber, her face broadcast to every screen.
12,000 ships from the year 1289 now stand in our skies. Their commander holds ancient authority we cannot revoke.
Across the planet, millions stared at screens. Shock gave way to anger in the streets. Protesters flooded central London. Signs read, "No king in the skies" and "Democracy, not Plantagenet."
I knew this would tear us apart. The old world is not yet gone.
In silent orbit, Admiral John watched the turmoil below, his weathered hand resting on the 100-year-old console. Clashes broke out as security forces tried to contain the growing dissent. The city hummed with tension.
They fear a king, but he is not the one they should fear.
The council adjourned in chaos. The fleet remained, patient and unmoved, a monument from another age. And John, standing in the starlight, whispered words in a language no one else remembered. For king and country, forever. A clandestine group, calling themselves the Free Skies Movement, launched a sophisticated cyber attack at the flagship's command core. The virus code splashed against the ship's systems and found not a digital firewall, but a living lattice of rune-etched logic.
They try to poison a well dug before their ancestors drew water.
A silent counterpulse radiated from the flagship, unraveling the virus and tracing its origin back to the source.
You are children playing with fire. Stand down, and no harm shall come to you.
The hackers' own terminals fried, their location broadcast to every security agency on the planet. Earth authorities moved in within minutes, rounding up the perpetrators amid gasps of disbelief.
They will try again. Fear always drives the first blow.
The fleet hung silent in orbit, invulnerable and remote, a reminder that some oaths cannot be broken by modern hubris. And John simply returned to his vigil, watching the world turn below as he had for 1100 years. In the quiet hours after the arrests, President Nguyen opened a private channel to the flagship, the formalities of state falling away.
Admiral John, beyond the oath, what do you truly want?
To fulfill my oath. That is all I have ever desired, but I ask one grace. Let me walk London's streets again, see what became of my king's dream.
Nguyen heard the longing beneath the words. A warrior asking for a memory.
I will arrange it. You will walk under our sky, but without spectacle.
Thank you, Madam President. After all these years, this is more than I dared hope.
John's weathered face softened, a rare glint of anticipation crossing his ancient eyes, as if a weight had lifted.
He isn't a conqueror, just a lonely soul carrying a kingdom's promise.
And so, with a silent prayer to a king long dead, the admiral prepared to descend 11 centuries after he last felt a sun's warmth. The shuttle cut through the clouds, and through the viewport, Admiral John saw London unfold beneath him, ancient spires woven with towers of glass and light. He stepped onto the landing pad, his Plantagenet armor drawing stares from the security detail, but his eyes were fixed on the distant silhouette of Big Ben.
Street lamps. They still use street lamps, though these burn without fire, without wick.
He paused before a coffee shop, watching a barista steam milk with a machine that hissed like a waking dragon. The barista stared back, bewildered.
This wall still carries the mark of the Plantagenet lion. Stone remembers, even when men forget.
At the Tower of London, now a museum, he stood before its walls, the reflection of his armor ghosting over the ancient stone. 1100 years rolled back.
Admiral, welcome home, though I suspect this home is a stranger to you now.
Not a stranger, Madam President. A distant relative. And I bring a gift.
A holographic simulation proved it. The ancient formation outmaneuvering coalition ships, a strategy from the age of longbows adapted to the star lanes. John's eyes reflected the tower as he left, a glint of recognition and loss. A king's promise now rested in this new age, unbroken. After the walk, John returned to the seat of power. Not as a relic, but as an ally bearing weapons of a forgotten age.
I ask your strategists, to witness a battle fought with rules your computers have never learned.
The holographic arena lit up, the ancient fleet formation plunging through coalition lines, outflanking modern dreadnoughts with impossible precision. The simulation froze on a decisive victory, the medieval ships having disabled the enemy without a single loss. A senior general shook his head, murmuring, "It shouldn't work. Their maneuvers defy every doctrine we have."
That is the point. The enemy prepares for what they know. We bring what they have forgotten.
President Nguyen turned to the coalition observer on the screen, whose face showed dawning respect and fear.
The Plantagenet fleet is an asset not just of Earth, but of peace. Any who threaten us will face this.
Across the coalition, the message was received. The old world had returned, and it would not be ignored. And in the night sky, 12,000 lights burned steady, a promise from a king who refused to let his kingdom fall. Even after a millennium of silence, months passed. The protests faded into wary silence. The fleet did not threaten, it only watched, lights steady above the sleeping cities.
Command. This is Captain Vrenkar. I have observed the human fleet for one standard cycle. They remain in defensive formation. No offensive actions. They are guardians, not conquerors. I was wrong about them.
In a quiet museum, a new exhibit opened. A medieval tapestry, its threads woven with the image of a great ship among the stars. A secret hidden for 1,000 years. Crowds gathered, staring at the proof that the Plantagenet dream had always reached outward, waiting for the day its children would join them. Admiral John sat alone in a garden at midnight, his armor reflecting the moon. He looked up, not at his ships, but at the stars beyond.
They built a future I never imagined. Yet my oath still means something. Perhaps that is enough.
On the flagship bridge, a brass plaque read, "Plantagenet Fleet, commissioned 1289, stands ready."
We stood ready then. We stand ready now, until the last star burns out.
And the ancient fleet continued its silent orbit, a golden lion among the stars, guarding a world that had almost forgotten its name. A child in London now pointed at the fleet and called them the King's Stars. The name spread, and the fear faded into folklore. Admiral John walked the streets less often, but when he did, people nodded. Not as subjects, but as neighbors. He stood on the bridge, one hand resting on the brass plaque, tracing the engraved letters.
1,200 years, and they still look at the stars with hope.
He keyed in a final command, not a battle order, but a simple log entry, oath fulfilled. Standing watch, the fleet adjusted its orbit. A silent acknowledgement, then settled into its eternal patrol. The empty shell of the dead star would become a museum, a monument to the day they awoke, and John, the last of his kind, closed his eyes and let the hum of the ship carry him into a dream of home. When he woke, the sun was still there, Earth was still there, and somewhere, the king's voice whispered across time, "Well done, my loyal servant." The Plantagenet fleet continued its watch, a golden lion among the stars, forever. Years passed. The fleet became a constellation that children drew on paper, a part of the sky no longer feared. A message from President Nguyen arrived, her voice calm and official. John read it on the ancient bridge. "Admiral, Earth stands equal among the stars. Your service has bought us peace. We have not forgotten."
Ambassador, a title I never sought, but my king would be content.
He pressed the log recorder one final time, his voice a quiet rumble in the ancient air.
Oath fulfilled, the shield holds, for Edward and for all who came after.
The brass plaque gleamed under the console lights, its letters unchanged for 1,100 years. A child in a distant city traced the fleet's lights with a finger, whispering the King's Stars as a bedtime prayer. And in the silence of the flagship, John closed his eyes, the hum of the ship like a heartbeat, carrying him into the deep peace of a promise kept. The Plantagenet fleet did not move. It would wait, as it had always waited, for the next disturbance, the next call, the next 1,000 years.